Welcome back to I Bought Toys Today, the show where two old friends talk about the best part of the toy collecting hobby. I'm John.
I'm Cohan.
And we've got good news for you. We bought toys today. And we're here to talk about them.
Toys.
You got a lot of toys to talk about.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I was going to say we should jump right in because there's
a
pile to root through.
It's been a couple of weeks since we filmed one, and or maybe even a month since our last one.
There's no way to know.
But I'm going to start because I've got a plethora sitting here next to me, and it rolls back to the beginning of October where it was my birthday, and I turned the big 5-0. And I'm going to start with a nod to my co-host because I didn't buy this toy. He bought this toy, and he got me Pimp Daddy Destro. And that's where we start. We start with Pimp Daddy Destro. That was a gift from John to me. I'm going to be completely honest. I would have never purchased this.
Because you're a fool.
But John got it for me, and love him for it. Pimp Daddy Destro. Toy number 1 on the list, and great stuff.
Again, in the tradition of ranking accessories that toys come from, or that toys come with, helmets and jetpacks, piles of burning money has got to be somewhere up there near the top.
That goes along with the water bottle and the peanut. I mean, those are just such random accessories.
Very good.
Then I will dive into. We went to shout out once again to my favorite store in the world, KidForce Collectibles, my comic book store and toy store as well. Joe Kiskus, great guy. I'll talk more about him later. But on that day, I did purchase this great Luke Cage action figure because John was up here to celebrate my 50th birthday. With a lot of friends and family, and we had a good time. But before then, John and I went a little figure hunting, and I scooped up Luke Cage, and then there's the man, because my affinity for Power Man and Iron Fist. If you know me, you know me. And then also,
were you able to confirm that is the one from the Defender box?
I don't know if it's it could very well be, but I think there's dark in the name of that collection. I could be mistaken, but I knew it was. I mean, it had been there for months, and John kept going, "Why don't you buy it? Why don't you?" I'm like, no one's gonna pick up Luke Cage. The only one who wants this person in this vicinity is me. It could sit there for another 3 more months, and I'd be fine. But it's a great figure. I don't know if he ever came with extras because he was already out of box, but he is a great Luke Cage figure. I mean, that is Luke. Look at him. Christmas. I put him on my Power Man Iron Fist She-Hulk shelf and Cap. I should not deny Cap. Also, during that extravaganza, because Joe gives you a discount when it's your birthday, I went and picked up this G.I. Joe Skyhawk. And these are in the wrong position, but, it's a 40-year-old toy, and I'm afraid if I turn these the other way, they're going to break because I can already see the whitening on the plastic right now. So I'm just going to leave it like this. It's going to be, it's parked on the flag anyway. I already moved it. But yeah, great condition. G.I. Joe Skyhawk, much fun, much love. So there's
stickers still look really nice on that one.
Yeah, they really do. Really, really, really very clean Skyhawk. And I think you were with me as well when I got the Devilfish. Yeah. And little boat to go outside the flag, sitting there with my new shipwreck and a poly, all complete. They're just gonna you're just gonna drive around. Good fun stuff. Good fun stuff to scoop up and enhance my collection. And it's been great. So
G.I. Joe does a great job
from October.
G.I. Joe does such a great job with just those like little one-man vehicles.
Yeah.
Um, like
One to
their
two
bigger
man,
stuff
and they
is
always
fun
have the
because it's
peg.
big, but like
They always have the pegs you can put more guys on, so it's not a one
yeah,
man vehicle. But just a great, yeah. It's a great little haul.
yeah. I really like the Skyhawk. Was that the little green one you showed first?
Yeah. This one. This
Like
one
I
they
think
use
that's
all the time in the cartoon.
yeah,
This
that thing's
this I
perfect. Like
it
it's compact. You can put a guy in there. Like it gets the job done without being ridiculously big or anything.
it it never came with a figure. I mean, you bought it like this, and but I think it became synonymous. I mean, they used it on the cartoon, the Sunbow cartoon, all the time. It may have been become synonymous with Duke because he was like always in it. And I just remember the one episode. I can't tell you the name, but when he got shot down, and it was on, it was like teetering on a mountaintop, and my again one of my top fives, Gung Ho. I think I've told this story before. Gung Ho came. He rips off the cover, scoops Duke up, and kicks the thing off the cliff before it explodes. Like that, Gung Ho, Gung Ho. That's 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 he's a man's man. If you know, you know. So there's a good chunk of my haul. There's more to come.
So like Cohan said, I was up visiting him early in October for his birthday. We went to KidForce, and I'm excited to. Do you even remember what I got at KidForce?
No, I really
Good.
don't.
I got this magnificent piece of plastic. It's Gideon.
Okay.
The one of the few remaining pieces from the original line of Toy Biz's X-Force figures that I didn't have yet. Got Gideon, and he was just so wonderfully priced that I couldn't say no. It's $5, and I'll buy Toy Biz figures for $5 all day long.
Yeah.
One of his best features is his original Toys R Us price tag,
Which
which
is
is $4.99.
all right. So he's gone up.
That's inflation. Gideon, terrible character. I'm not going to say too much about him, but I've really enjoyed collecting sort of the first lines of these Toy Biz figures. Like I have the first X-Men line behind me. Most of the first X-Force run still need Bridge, so I'll be on the lookout for him.
Dude, I could have probably scooped them all up for you today.
And yet you didn't.
Well, I didn't know.
That's okay. But it brings me to the other figure I got at KidForce. And this might be, believe it or not, this might be the nerdiest thing that I ever talk about on this show, or at least have so far. Because the other thing I got at KidForce was Archangel. Now, you may be saying to yourself, John, I watch these videos so closely. I've seen every one. I know you have Archangel behind you on the wall this whole time. And I'd say, you know what? You're right. I do. But I didn't have this Archangel. Because this Archangel, if you look at the top, the card looked like this. It is unbroken. It just has this place where you slide the peg in, as opposed to one of these, where the card hooks. And is that significant whatsoever to anyone else on the planet? No.
I
But
would disagree.
there's a slight difference because this version, this is what the card back looks like. It's the very first, small step for man, huge leap for mankind. Like, we are starting to make toys back. It only has the first figures that you see there, along with like the play sets that you see over there,
which you have, which just is great, just as great.
I'm looking for you, Magneto car. Whereas the other ones just have this back, which has the original figures on it, but also has sort of the cross promotional other lines as well. And the Archangel that I've had is this version, not this version. So
it is a variant in a way.
No, it's like I had a second edition and I bought a first edition.
Fair, okay.
And I'm not usually that sort of completionist, but I've decided to do so for like this one line because it's the very first. Might as well get the first printings.
Yeah, and and like, can I ask what you paid for him?
Oh, he was a beefy purchase of, I want to say, $12.
Yeah, exactly. So you're not breaking the bank on that.
No, and I'm almost there. I only have 2 others that I need to get. I still need a first edition Juggernaut and Apocalypse. And the worst thing is, I know a store that has both. But it's like a 40-minute drive away, and who has the time?
You do.
So maybe one day. So probably the first thing I'll do after we're done filming this episode is swap these guys out. But since the only 2 I still need are Juggernaut and Apocalypse, I now do have the whole run of the actual X-Men figures, because all of the other ones up there are those first ones. Some of them aren't even punched.
That's pretty good.
So that's kind of fun. And I like having these original runs just because they're not getting any younger.
No.
And I have a lot of memories attached to all of them, really.
It's funny because over here, this long shot, these older Marvel Legends, a lot of them are really affordable, and I saw a number of them today and didn't pick any of them up. But versus that Marvel Legend, which you got me, sir, is, and you can't see it, but it's Iron Fist in his red costume, versus that Marvel Legend, Longshot. Both great characters. I like them both, but it's really funny how those are not going up very much in value. Value.
Either one.
Yeah, at some of these shops I've seen, they're reasonably priced. $20 or less for a lot of them. I saw several today, just looking through, and there was a Psylocke. I was like, I really like Psylocke, but I don't need that figure. I've got a Psylocke in my case over here. But that was surprising, and that surprises me that as old as they are, they're not appreciating.
I have a bunch of the old Toy Biz Legends. None of them, well, I don't want to say none of them are on display. There might be like one, not counting Cyclopses. But why do you think that is, Cohan? Why do you think it is that they're not like doing anything price wise?
I that's the ones that are pricey are pricing. You go, dang. The ones that are not, you go, why not? I mean, I get like an Iron Man or a Spider Man. Probably they mass produced, but again, a Psylocke like that long shot, right there. I picked him up for oh god, it was over the summer. He was only $18, And when I went and looked online, I was like, that's what he's going for. I don't. It's odd. It's odd. I don't know when you get like I'm looking at some of these guys in the shelf next to me who've already appreciated even more than that, and they're not that old. You know.
Can I tell you my theory?
Sure.
It's because they're bad.
You think so?
Yeah.
But I mean,
I have a lot of Toy Biz Legends. Again, as I'm looking directly into the Build-A-Figure Sentinel that I have on display, so that's another one. They're not great. Like I have the, Toy Biz Cyclops on the shelf. Like his proportions are all weird. Like the features are real bizarre.
fair enough. But
They haven't held up well.
Even he was more out of box. I mean, out of box, just alone, no accessory, no nothing. He was more than one of those I got hanging back there.
Like I think there's such a leap in, I'll say, quality, but just in the the difference in like what Hasbro Legends, how the Hasbro Legends look compared to the old Toy Biz Legends, is such an improvement that, like, as someone who I've got a bunch of long shot figures, and the Hasbro one is not that vastly different from the old Toy Biz one, so that might not be the best example. But the Toy Biz ones have just not held up very well. They had real weird proportions. Something like these real old ones, like they're like old movies. They have charm, a lot of nostalgia attached to them. But the Toy Biz ones, they tried. An attempt was made. And then when Hasbro took over, they eventually sort of really started knocking them out the park, and figures that just look consistently, good, with a few misses here and there, of course. But there are a lot of Toy Biz ones that are just goofy.
Yeah, well, and that's fair. I don't know if I talked about these next two already, and if so, we'll just edit it out. But sometime between the summer and now, I scooped up my man. Arriba.
Is that the one Tito you were looking for?
No, there's still one out there that I cannot find, and he gonna be pricey. And that was funny because I honestly don't remember ordering this, but apparently I did, and I know I did not just get this at a toy show. But like I'm looking at my TV show going, oh my god, I forgot. I literally forgot I got it, and it's the Hall of Fame Tito. Includes entrance shirt. That's the big hook, and I was like, well, all right, and look, Arriba! My boy, my all time favorite wrestler is Tito Santana. I don't know why or how he was the ultimate baby face, but I must have every Tito figure they've ever made of him, and thus I keep buying them. And again, I don't. This had to come over the summer. I had to have ordered it then or early fall. I don't remember ordering this. When I was staring up there, going, "Wait, I got that! Oh my god!" But and this is, and again, they do Tito wrong. But I'm sure this was probably a 2-pack with Rick Martel because he's got his Strike Force gear on. I don't need Rick Martel. I don't care about Rick Martel. Give me my boy. Give me.
Sorry, Rick.
Yeah, sorry, Rick. You were great. You're great in the ring, but I'm telling you, this was my guy. So there's a couple of old Tito figures I scooped up between July and now.
I find it hard to believe that there are that many Tito figures out there that you do not already have.
Yeah, I'm not that far away. There's a 3 pack. Oh god, it disgusts me because it's like it's like the B team of the tag teams, and it's Tito, it's Jim Neidhart, and it's Marty Jannetty. And the other pack is Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, and Rick Martel. I'm like, come on, man. And and I'm sure it's like a repaint of one of those or someone I already have. But there is one they came out and it's like in that Hall of Fame figure. It's him in his El Matador gear. Man, that was rare. I don't know who has it. I don't. I want it. I hated that character. I didn't hate that character. Because it was Tito, but it was him doing his job. I mean, like they would go, Tito, we need to do this. You go, all right. He made them like it, but he always did it. So that's one I need in my collection. Would you like to go?
Back to me.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I got a lot out now. I'm down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm only down to 10 now, John.
It's more than I started with. But let's stick with when we were toy hunting on your birthday, which honestly should have had its own episode, but who has the time? Went to KidForce, and then you took me over to Applejack's, which was so much fun. It was the first time that I've been there. So I'll speak on it for a second because you've been there, Lord knows how many times. And it's one of my favorite types of toy stores, in that, like, there's just something whimsical about it. Like, they've got stuff hanging from the ceiling, like they've got all sorts of, and I mean this with affection, nonsense.
Yeah.
Just the most like Saturday afternoon sort of bric-a-brac, of yesteryear that it just creates such a fantastic like environment. Like it's the perfect atmosphere for a store such as this.
They literally had a grand opening because they have now 3 locations. The first one is in Lakewood. The second one is in Cuyahoga Falls, I believe. The third one they just opened yesterday at the Terminal Tower.
Oh, really? Just yesterday?
Wow. Yeah, just yesterday. And I was going to go, but too many things were happening, so I could not. But they offered a lot of discounts, what have you. But the owner, believe his name is Adam. I believe that's his name. He and his wife and their employers are just really, really good people. And I think I've told this story before, but I don't care. I'm going to tell it again. The first time I went in, I had like, here's how much I'm going to spend and not much more. So my limit was $100. And I remember I got up there and she rung me up and she was like 75 something. I'm like, that's not right. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, it should be close to 100 for everything I have. And she's like, are you sure? I'm like, mm-hmm. And she forgot to ring up one of my GI. I wish I remember which one it was. One of the Joe figures I bought to replace mine because it was in much better condition. And she was like, oh my God, thank you so much. And she's like, I'm going to give you 10% off. I'm like, you don't have to do that. And again, this is literally during COVID. This is during, I think, 2020. And I'm like, you're a mom and pop store. You just want to get started. And she's like, no, most people would have just walked out of here and not said a word. So she gave me 10% off. And then my buddy who was with me, she gave him 10% off just because he was with me. And they were like, we just enjoyed that you were very honest. And this is a mom and pop toy store. They don't need to give me 10, like she said, she goes, it basically covers the taxes. I'm like, I get it, but still, I want to promote their business. Very fair, very friendly, very knowledgeable, just good people. Shout out to Jax Toys. Sorry
It's
to
like
usurp that conversation, but they're just really good people, really fair. Go ahead, John.
we've spoken at length on how amazing the toy department is,
Yeah.
as a toy store, and I hate to compare the two because they're
Oh,
both
they're night and
fantastic toy
day.
stores, but yeah, like completely different. Um, in that, like it's like walking, like Applejack's is more like Willy Wonka esque, where like you have to, like they stuff is displayed creatively. There's stuff everywhere. You have to look around,
Mm-hmm.
um, but you want to look around.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not filed like a library. Like you gotta you gotta take your time, and indulge in it as much as they have. Um, and it's like that type of store is just an absolute joy, because the only way to like the only way to create something like that, much less run something like that, is just with affection. And it was so much fun, just wandering about and finding stuff.
Yeah, and
Um,
there are some good surprises. You don't even think you're gonna go.
well, I found two surprises, that I was happy to stumble upon. The first of which was appropriately the Wolverine mutant cycle, the Toy Biz vehicle for him. If you'll notice, many of the same items as the back of Archangel.
Yeah.
Um, got a couple of those. Fun story. I had this Magneto set. It was my Halloween costume. I think when I was 8
Oh God, I'm so
or
old.
so. I've I've seen that one. I don't think I ever saw this Cyclops one. Um, and as much as I am having fun collecting like this first run of Toy Biz stuff, I'm never gonna see these. Like I'll run into Magneto someday, just like I ran into this Wolverine one. Never gonna find
Oh,
these.
that is my mission now, sir.
Yeah, you find me this Cyclops mask, darn it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't care about that Magneto. I will get that. It's like, oh no, there's gonna be a duck beep there, but yeah, that would be my goal.
um, Funny enough, the story you just told, was it the Skyhawk was one of the first things you ever opened?
The the laser cannon.
Laser cannon. This was the first X-Men toy I ever opened. I got it for Christmas in, goodness, whatever, 1990 something or other, wherever it was. Um, and I had gotten, right before it, I'd opened a present and I got the Wolverine Bendham figure.
Oh, okay.
And
Yes.
they
Yes.
put out those tragic rubbery figures. So I opened that and I was like, cool, Wolverine Bendham figure. That's fun. And like one or two presents later, I open this thing and I go, awesome. And I'm looking at it and I'd be like, this will be great to play with once I get the Wolverine figure. And I'm like, oh, this is neat. And my mom goes, yeah, and you got the Wolverine figure to play with. And I went, oh no. And I realized that I, as like a 9-year-old or whatever I was going to have to explain to my parents that they didn't get me the present they thought they did. And that's not how this thing works. And because there was, I think the problem with it was there was such like a sense of pride in the way she said it, of like, you've got the Wolverine figure. And I was like, oh no, like you thought she coordinated like something really well. Um, like I was like, I'm gonna have to break my mother's heart
Yeah, that's
because
hard.
I wasn't just gonna let it slide because I needed that darn Wolverine.
Which you eventually got from me.
Well, I eventually got from like KB Toy Store, uh, and I don't remember if I still have him.
I
Maybe
love
not.
the fact that his mask you could wear as a ring.
Oh, which I did to like fourth grade quite often. It did not survive. This bike though is such nonsense. Like it is such a mess. You notice like it has giant Wolverine
Yeah.
claws coming out the front, and they do move up and down. Um, but the most buck wild thing about it is the front of it flips so that Logan's face appears on the front. Like it goes from like
Well, you
whatever
don't want to see that in
this
your rearview
line
mirror.
looked
You're
like.
driving, all of a sudden Logan's face pops up. You're yeah.
Yeah, it is just Wolverine's human uncovered face and hair.
That's fantastic. Oh, such garbage. It's so good.
Absolute nightmare.
It's so good.
Push down on the power pedal to transform Mutant Cycle from mild mannered to ferocious.
Oh, and ferocious is his face.
I think mild mannered is his face actually,
Oh
because
well.
in it is transforming from face to, I don't know, lion face. Um, but this box, still sealed. This box is in ridiculously good condition.
Yeah. And you got that at KidForce?
No, I got this at Applejack's.
Applejack's. I'm sorry. That's what I meant.
Has the remnants of a KB price tag on the top, but it is not there.
I love getting toys with the original tag on them. Toys R Us,
Yeah,
KB, whatever.
not enough of it has survived to let me know what it was. But you can. Oh no, never mind. It is Kmart. My
Oh,
apologies.
okay.
Not KB. Still good though.
Yeah.
So it'll go back over there with the danger room and the combat cave and the light arena, and I'm just having a great time getting this old Toy Biz stuff. Magneto,
God,
Magnetron,
you need to create a diorama with all those things.
and I can't. It's one thing if I ran into the bike. I can't believe that I found one in a box that was probably in better condition than when I opened on Christmas, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
The other thing I picked up at Applejack's was another fun vehicle that I have a lot of nostalgia for, and I could not believe the good condition I found it
Oh
in.
yes, I remember this. Yeah. The minute you
Um,
said vehicle, it clicked in the head. Yeah.
this is a Starcom vehicle. Ask me what its name is. I don't remember. We don't do that much prep for this show. Sorry.
Nope.
But this is the one, maybe the one. If it's not the one Starcom vehicle I had as a kid, it's the one I remember. And
I don't remember these at all.
yeah, but the Starcom was right up my alley because I love this early '90s trend of just little guys in vehicles. Starcom, Sky Commanders, Exo Squad, Mask, etc., etc. But these are great. And Starcom is such an underrated toy line because they just have this wonderful gimmick of using magnets, and the stuff is very cool because it's much more realistic than say an Exo Squad. Like despite the ridiculous array of guns hanging off this thing, this kind of looks like an actual NASA vehicle.
Yeah, I'll give it that.
You know,
It
sure.
really does.
It's motorized, which I don't know if it still works or if it will work while I'm holding it. But this is a loader that will pick up, doesn't have the leverage, there it goes. It'll pick up this thing, it'll drop it off because it's magnet powered. And like, that's not a super exciting play feature or anything. But whenever I see this line, I just think to myself, I have no idea why more lines didn't do this, because the magnets are just, there's a world of possibilities with stuff you can do with them. And I may not be
and it's total nostalgia.
Yeah. And the other reason I got so excited to see this, other than just like the whole thing was complete, was that not only was that all together, but the little guy driving it still has his visor.
I remember that conversation.
And helmets are fantastic. Best thing around. But it is very hard for figures this size. I mean, this is probably another 30-year-old piece. Again, look how good these stickers have held up over the years. But also this little piece of see-through plastic that's only clipped on with tiny little pegs on the side of his helmet is also still there after all these years. And it's, I don't want to say that's the best part, but it's very exciting. Along with Starcom have these nicely oversized boots because there's magnets in them, which is all sorts of fun because they stick to all sorts of stuff. So I saw this here at Applejack's and I was like, that's the one. And I saw him sitting in the driver's seat with his visor still on. And I just, I believe I removed my wallet from my pocket and threw it across the store towards the cash register and said, start ringing it up.
Yeah. And again, it's such a great store too, because I mean, again, the stuff like I look for Joe's and Star Wars and wrestlers, whatever, but also oddities like that. A number of years ago, I did a toy hunt for our group of friends, and I found the Pirates of Dark Waters figures for our friend Roger. Who remembered that show? It was a great show, but I scooped some up for him.
I'm still looking for some.
You gotta love it. Scoop this baby up. This will be a new Christmas decoration. This is my She-Hulk elf on a shelf. Yeah, it's much better than the original. Little bobblehead. Saw her, got her at KidForce because I love me some She-Hulk. And look at her. She a little elf. Her little elf here. She elf on a shelf. I love her. Love her. Don't care what anybody else thinks. Love me some She-Hulk. And taking that. I'm sorry. Were you done? I just jumped right in like nothing.
Yeah, that was a smooth transition. Unless you want to hear me talk about Starcom more.
All right, we'll start with I picked this fellow up. G.I. Joe Classified. Scooped him up at KidForce. Again, I think the same day I got Shulky there. Got me some Torpedo. Got me the Navy SEAL of the Joe team. Great figure. Again, these figures, I can't wait till they get back to the plastic. You can see the figure because literally you have to open them to know what you're getting based on my low light. And we've talked about that, right? We've talked.
I was hoping you were gonna pull out another low light.
No, but got me some Torpedo. Good figure. Good fun. Edward Lee Aloha. We should have that every time I say the right name. You take a drink.
What?
But good figure. Just really well done too. And that Joe shelf is up. It's not even a shelf. It's building. It's getting crowded. And yesterday, no, we'll go with this one. I also picked up this figure. I was in Target just getting like odds and ends, like of what I needed. I was like, let's go down the toy aisle just for fun. And
that's how they get you.
No, normally they don't because there's nothing there. Vipra.
Very
the
good.
Cobra Ninja Specialist. I don't know, but she's a cool figure. Really dig her. And I'm slowly building my Cobra collection. You'll see in a little bit. But, even with the skull helmet, she was cool. And I was like, yeah.
A cool helmet, you say?
Oh, shut up. And a cool arrow. But just neat. And not one really I was even looking for. There's your bow.
It's ridiculous.
Not even one I was really looking for, but just was like, well, heck, it's here. I'll just scoop it up, and it was, again, inexpensive. So yeah, said yeah, let's scoop her up just for fun, and again, my Cobra collection is slowly building. I mean,
is she from the comic books?
Not that I remember.
Because I certainly don't remember her from the cartoon.
No. She was not in the cartoon. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0 on a 7. Yeah, so you're looking at I've got I think maybe 8, 9-ish Cobra folk, and I'm slowly building Cobra. They're not my main goal. It's the Joes. I'm a Joe head, and I don't care. I like the faces, and so I'll throw this one in. I actually got him yesterday. I know we're filming this on Sunday, so I scooped him up yesterday because KidForce is doing a Black Friday sale through. I'll just do both now. Through December 1st, buy one, get one half off, depending on the line you bought. So to build my Cobra collection I got a Crimson Guard because they're just so good looking. It's so good, isn't it? He's a good looking figure. The Crimson Guards were just great in G.I. Joe. But the half off I got was this fella from Infinity War. And it was funny because I think I was going to get him. It was between getting him and a Cobra officer or him and the figure I got. And Joe was like, I've got lots of Cobra officers. You might want to scoop up this fella. And so I picked up Cap from Infinity War. Look at him. Look at Chris Evans with his little beard, his little shield. And a very simple figure, but I'm a Cap guy. I love Captain America. And it's not like USA. I love the figure. I love the story. I love Cap. And this is a fun figure. And to see him and get him half off was great. And that was literally on Saturday yesterday. So, got me some Cap.
I'm still in the market for a Crimson Guard. It's the one classified figure I very much want. And I go back and forth as to whether I should get the red one or the Python Patrol one.
No. I mean, the Python. I also love the Python Patrol. If you're gonna go Crimson Guard, if you're only gonna get one, you get this one. Look how.
Because I had both of the original ones.
As do I.
And they were big fans of both of them. Can't go wrong.
But he's just look how great. I mean, I know there's a lot of glitter going on there, but he's just a great looking figure. It was funny because it was him, the Cobra officer, and Copperhead. I was like, no, he really is just Just a pretty figure.
There's a figure. There's a moment in Infinity War, which I think is, with all the other big moments in the MCU, there's a little moment in there that I don't think gets talked about enough. When they're in Wakanda and the battle is starting and the armies are charging each other, and there's that moment where everyone's running and then Black Panther and Captain America just pull away from everybody. Like everybody's just chucking around and they're like, and it's such a little thing that like somebody had to think of at some point when they're like blocking it out and they're like, hey, what if Captain America runs really fast? And it's just something that like I remember seeing in the theater and just being like, oh, he runs real fast because he's Captain America and he just does stuff like, you know, Black Panther has his super suit, his superpowers, and Captain America just like, yeah, I go too because I'm Captain America. And it's best, just those little things they have him do that are very good.
The best moment in all the entire Infinity Saga is when he goes, shunk, Avengers assemble.
Well, yeah, but that
is the best moment.
Well, yes, the best moment in all of movie history is the best moment. But I'm just saying, in Infinity War,
I agree. I'm not
that moment when like he just pulls away, and you're like, oh, he is gonna go beat some aliens up. Like he's on your left, dead sprinting into those. Like no, there's nothing on his left because he left them all in the dust.
Oh, and
little cap moments.
Chris Evans, what a great! I mean, for all the roles he's done before, even as Human Torch. If you've never seen The Losers, watch that. That's a fun movie, and it's got half the Marvel cast in it anyway. But man, what a great! Again, the Cohan brothers, they nailed their cast. I mean, no one could play Tony Stark except Robert Downey Jr. He was phenomenal. And then Chris Evans comes into his role as Cap, and so on and so forth. You go down the list and like, man, they nailed this. These people, these actors, and again, sorry, this is my nerd side coming, my bigger nerd side as a director and actor. Coming out, they just embraced these roles and just took them and made them their own, and they were so good. You can't like if I had to recast the Avengers, no. No, I mean Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye, just phenomenal. They were so, and I know people may disagree. I get up when all said and done, but man, did they nail their cast, and those actors just did their jobs. And
you heard it here first, folks. MCU was good.
No, shocking. Shut up.
Hot take.
Go on, your turn, Dick.
Your Captain America mug. I'm gonna do two real fast, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because like you alluded to, it's that time of year where stuff's going on sale. And it's in that time of year where I like to make poor decisions. Luckily, I haven't done any yet. All of these are good decisions. But I found some stuff that was on sale at very nice prices, so I scooped them up. First one up, I got the Marvel Legends 20th Anniversary Toad figure.
Oh.
Toad was like the first Marvel Legend ever made, at least the first X-Men one ever made, believe it or not. He was Series 1, 2002. With Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, and Toad. If you ever wondered, again, why Toy Biz Marvel Legends haven't held up, that was their Series 1.
Well, yeah, obviously Toad was the hot seller.
And if you go back and look at that Toad, it's not great. But this Toad very much is. Obviously, it came out in 2022, so it's not a brand new figure. It was very high on a lot of people's lists last year when it did come out, though. Got a lot of great accessories. I haven't taken it out of the box yet. I do enjoy the old school Marvel Legends packaging, but I've been holding on to it to talk about it on this show. And I realized when I saw it at a lovely discounted price, if you remember, the X-Men team that I've put together with my Marvel Legends is the arcade game team.
Yeah.
It's the Pride of the X-Men team. And on the other end of that, like, they have a nice sort of Brotherhood of Evil Mutants that they square off against in Pride of the X-Men. You know, Magneto and Juggernaut and White Queen and Pyro and Toad. So I thought to myself, it kind of only makes sense that, like, I should get, if I'm going to do the Pride of the X-Men team, I should get the Pride of the X-Men villains. And I'm fairly close. I've had a Juggernaut for a long time. Recently got the Magneto that they put out to go along with X-Men 97, and I'm counting that. It's very good. And it looks, you know, nice and bad guyish too. Pyro is very easy to find. There are loose ones of him at every toy store across Ohio, so I'm not worried about that. The old school Emma Frost is going to be challenging. There was because I do want the old Hellfire look for when she was a bad guy, and they have made one of those, but it was a while ago. I believe it came in a Hellfire pack, like Hellfire Club pack, so it's probably not going to be cheap. But yeah, this guy was. So happy to get Toad, getting close to having the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Next up, I bought a G.I. Joe. I got a classified figure.
It's going to be Cobra. Because it's going to be a Cobra.
Because it was on such a deep discount that I couldn't help it. And it's one that I liked having the original figure of. Kicked a lot of G.I. Joe butt with it back in the day. And at the price it was at, I couldn't resist finally picking up a Zorano.
Up there on the wall, baby.
I love little mini factions within G.I. Joe. Like, you know, Cobra Law, Slaughter's Marauders.
Cobra Law is not the place to start. Night Force, Tiger Force, Dreadnoks. There's where you gotta not Cobra Law.
Start with the best.
Cobra Law?
So the Dreadnoks are great. Zorano's my favorite one. She might have been my favorite Cobra female person. I don't even think I ever had a Baroness as a kid anyway.
Shame.
Yeah, I clearly I was underprivileged. So if anybody was gonna kick Lady J's butt, it was Zorana. So she had to square off with Jinx a lot.
Oh my god!
And it is my hope.
You have not even mentioned Scarlet. How dare you? Go on.
I don't think I've ever had a Scarlet either. Told you, underprivileged. It is my hope, though, that eventually, with the weird stuff that Classified makes,
they got to put Xandar out.
Yes, that's what I'm banking the $11 that I spent on this on. That they will eventually make her brother, and that is the sibling team that I'm here for. Tomax, Zema, you're fantastic, but those are the siblings that I'm on the lookout for. One day.
The problem is Xandar, as great as his file card reads, he never got to play in the comics or the TV show. she obviously did, and obviously
Plus,
Zartan.
with
Xander
that hair, how could you not?
Xander never got the props he deserved because you read his file card. He's like the kid that everyone forgets, and which makes him that much cooler. And the few times they use him, particularly in the cartoon, he was like a weenie, and it's like, no.
He's a cool looking figure too.
Yeah, I did. He was one of my favorites. I'm not kidding. And it's like when you rank their dreadnoks. My favorite dreadnought is Ripper, and everybody like gives him crap, but I loved him in the cartoon because he was such a doofus. And in the comics, not so much. He was a little different, but like Buzzer and Torch get the of the original three get the big play. But I loved Ripper. He was such a dork. And I mean, their names were Winkin', Blinkin', and Nod. I mean, Harry Nod was Ripper. Dick Blinkin' Smythe was Buzzer, and Harry Winkin' was Torch. And then they had the others. The Dreadnoks.
You did that one twice. Who was Nod? You did two Winkins. You didn't do a Nod.
No. But the original, the Dreadnoks are the best offshoot faction. They're the best offshoot. They had a Road Pig, Nagahide, Thrasher, Zanzibar. They're just stupid mercenaries. It's so much fun you could have with them.
I think they fall into a category of 80s cartoon characters where you have to make them goofy like that.
Oh, yeah.
Or else they would be genuinely terrifying.
Well, and that's the thing. In the comics, they were worse, But on the cartoon, because it was meant to sell toys, it was,
and it worked.
Yeah, well, hey, Crimson Guard, hey, baby. I still have to scoop up an Alley Viper. I haven't got one of those yet.
Well, I was going to say, holding on to her. Hopefully, Xander will come out one day, and then that means I'll also have to dig around and find a Zartan.
Yeah, so I still need a Zartan.
Well, it's a race to Zartan then, who is a fantastic classified figure. Like, he looks great.
Well, then I will mention we went down to my buddy and I did some. We literally drove around Akron from one side to the other. We stopped at Happy Pappys, I believe is the name of the store. Great store, well organized, fun stuff, lots of good things.
It sounds like a place you would go for a burger.
Well, yeah, it does, but I didn't go for a burger. I went for a Snowcat. And I got me a G.I. Joe Snowcat and complete windshield wiper missiles. The figure was on sale as well. I already have that. You know what this is going to sit? Right next to the Polar Battle Bear. I got the snow guys hanging out, having a convo on the flag, and really, really good price for this.
Who is supposed to drive it?
What's that?
Who's supposed to drive it?
Frostbite, and he's already hanging out on the flag already. Great condition. Not as white, but again, it's 40 years old. When I asked about it, because I saw it sitting in the case, and I asked the guy behind the counter, should ask for his name, and he came over and he opened up, and he searched online. He's like, "How about $40?" I'm like, "We sold American," and so I got me a G.I. Joe. I got me a G.I. Joe Snowcat today.
It looks. You said it's not that white. It looks so white, like on your camera. Like, yeah, it looks brand new.
You can, I mean, if you look at it up close, you can see I mean, Sage, and I think, like, even when I did the flag and cleaned that up, there are products you can use to make them white, and that's great. But my fear is damaging the vehicle or property. But again, it's 40 years old, and or 30 to 40 years old, and I think that adds to the character of it. Is to have it. This is a an arm or an armed forces vehicle that's been in it. Let it have that character. Let it have that grit and grime to it. You know, the person who buys it off me when I'm dead, you go ahead and do what you want with it. But this Snowcat, and I mean, complete, beautiful condition.
The windshield wiper is ridiculous.
Oh, I love the windshield wiper, and the fact that it has like the windshield wiper, like you could tell, like it only wipes where it's at, and oh, just beautiful condition. So that was some Happy Pappys.
A few weeks ago, I got a text message from a buddy of mine up in Cleveland. He says, "Hey, I was out, wandering through Target or whatever, and went through the toy aisle, and I got myself something, and I also got you something." Which was weird for a couple of reasons. A, lives 2 hours away from me. So I don't know what his plan was. But he was like, if you don't want it, I can take it back. But I know they can be a little hard to find, so I just grabbed it. If you want it, we'll figure it out. So a few weeks later, I happened to be up there anyway. So we, figured out how to get together so I could pick this up from him. I have to do a shout out to my friend Aaron for hooking me up with my first Gargoyles figure.
Oh, really?
And the best part, it's not even a gargoyle. Because
It's the cop.
No, it is the armored Xanatos figure.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, yes. Because we'd talked about this, he and I, and how I just thought this was the coolest figure from the whole set. Because Xanatos had, the Lex Luthor of the Gargoyles world. He'd built a bunch of fake robot gargoyles to fight the gargoyles. But then, in a very Tony Stark move, made a suit for himself. And it has just this perfect bad guy color scheme. And if there's one thing I love, it's big red robots, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, just look at that thing.
Wow.
With the alternate head.
Very good.
So you can put him on there. It does have wings as well, as it should, and a tail. So again, I have no idea where the heck I'm putting the thing.
But has that started your new collection?
Oh no. I'm a little too far behind the 8 ball, even if I was gonna get into gargoyles. They're a fantastic line. They're great looking figures.
Oh, they are. They are. I saw some today, actually.
Like he picked this up because I think he was just getting another one that he needed. I don't know if it was the Lexington one or one of the others. But no, if I'm happy just getting this one because I think it's just such a cool design.
Yeah.
I enjoy a nice suit of power armor as much as the next person, and I enjoyed gargoyles as much as anyone else who was watching cartoons back in 1996 or whenever.
I still watch cartoons.
So they just really knocked this one out of the park. He's got his little wrist-mounted blasters that you can put on there with, stuff to shoot out of them. I'm excited we're finally filming this, because this is going to be another one where he is coming out the box as soon as I can get around to it once we're done filming, because he's going to look great. Again, shout out to my buddy Aaron for hooking me up.
Shout out to Aaron.
But this was very cool. Worked out. And I can't say that I've seen one myself while I was walking around yet. So good on him for hooking me up. I paid him for it, but still.
Regardless, yeah. He was thinking of you. That's cool.
Right? It's weirdly nice.
It's not weirdly nice. It's just nice. So one of the toy stores my friend and I went to, Mike, shout out to Mike Bernowski. We drove back and forth through Akron all day, and this shop, Adams Comics and Toys, I believe it was called. What a friendly guy. Came chatting with us back and forth, what have you. Really, really good guy. If I lived in the Akron area, I think it was I can't remember. Again, we hit one store in Akron or Canton, drove to Akron, drove to the other side of Akron. Regardless, great store. Really well organized. Digging through a bin of G.I. Joe collectibles, and I found this Scarlet. Now I have one, two, three. I have 3 versions of Scarlet. She complete, no broken crotch, no broken thumbs, crossbow there. I didn't need the file card. I have that already. She was so well priced, and I'm like, so I had to scoop her. I had to scoop her up, and we actually talked about her at the shop. And he's like, "Yeah, we just recently put her out." I wanted to buy half the shop. I was just stunned. Now, granted, I got the Snowcat at a better value at the other show or at the other shop, but the one he was selling was much cleaner than the one I have. Just brilliant white and what have you. And we chatted a lot. Good guy, and he actually knows Joe from KidForce. Good guy. But then I saw this and said, "Oh no, I don't have to order it offline. I'll just pick it up here." And hello, Snow Job. The hooded figure is great with his hood and what have you, but you're able to see Snow Job's whole head, and eventually the goggles will go on him, and he'll join the team up here. And I actually told him about my skis, and they don't fit very well in here, and I'm not forcing them. Because I don't want to break them. But I told him about my little fiasco about ordering offline, which is funny. I'll add this caveat too, because when I was at yesterday on Saturday, I was talking to Joe at KidForce and told him what happened when I ordered low light. He said he scooped up an Indiana Jones figure at Target in Mississippi, Missouri. I don't remember where he was. He was not here. Kentucky, whatever. And he said he got back to the hotel and busted it open. And same thing. It was like a paper plate and some other things. It was not the figure. And
that's wild.
Yeah, you know why? Because you need to have the plastic to know what we're seeing. You can't just do the box. So we talked about that, and so between Joe and Adam, both Joe A plus. I mean, I've been going in for years, but this guy, I would drive an hour and a half to go to his store. Was just phenomenal, be well organized and set up. Very, very fair prices. I thought fair prices. Yes, there were some things that may be a little more expensive than others, but overall, I think the prices were again. This Scarlet, for the condition she's in, minus her file card, and this is going to like to Ohio and other places. I have never seen her listed under. She's always $80 to $100, and I got her much less than that. And she's in great shape. Her joints are stiff, crossbow included. I don't need the file card. I already got it. I don't care. I got it. I think, to me, I got a steal in this figure, and shout out to Adam. Very, again, and we chatted for a while. Very personal guy. And it was funny because not only the first Yappy Pappys, they had a flag, and they were displaying a bunch of Star Wars vehicles on it. At his register, Adam had, I think, I hope it's Adam. He had a flag as well, and he had several Tomahawks and a Sky Striker on it. And I was like, that Tomahawk's great. Tomahawks. He's like, oh, that's 100% complete with lift ticket, with the mic, with the box. And I was like, I don't even want to know how much that
God, with the box.
Because, no, but his store was not, it was bigger than Applejack's, right? But just as, like, cramped, and you know what I'm talking about, but organized and just, it was, I would love to meet you there. Just a great show. Just a great shop. And then
they're all spaced out. This might be too big of a subject, but they're all spaced out like just far enough that it's inconvenient. But Ohio has such a wealth of toy stores.
It does.
Like
surprising. It's and they're all southwest or southeast.
Yeah, they're all southwest or northeast.
Mm-hmm. And the last figure,
none of them are close.
I know, that's the worst part. I mean, there's a couple close to me, but the last one I scooped up from Adams was the only AEW figure I will ever purchase. Very nice, very evil. Yes. I curse you. I curse you. It's not the one I ordered offline, but I got me Danhausen. Very nice.
Another Danhausen.
Very evil. Oh, there he is. Look at Danhausen. Look at, and it switches head. This is the better head, I think. But yeah. But some Danhausen. Excellent. Some Danhausen. I love me Danhausen. I will never forget the first time I met him at the Toy How. You were with me. And his line had disappeared by then. And I went and spoke with him. And we chatted a little bit. And, you know, he's staying in character. And I was like, your voice has to be killing you. And he goes, oh, you have no idea. And it was so great to hear him drop character for me. But I also remember prior to that, it was like, you know, you kind of got me back into toy collecting. He's like, and I ruined your life. And no, sir, you did not. You made it greater. So
that's what I was going to ask, because you don't really watch AEW.
No, I don't watch AEW. Period.
I was trying to be polite. So how do you know of Danhausen or have developed any sort of interest in him?
I literally, I don't know how many years ago this was now, 2, give or take, and I was down the YouTube hole, and I was looking for, you know, toy collecting, and it was like Danhausen robs this store. I'm like, what is this guy? And like, I'm looking at it because, you know, it's him and his it's him and his makeup, and I'm like, what the hell is this? So I watch it, and I'm watching him going, what kind of loser is this guy? And all of a sudden, I watched another one, and another one. I'm like, I love this guy. And at that time, he was not in AEW. I think he was in ROH. He was in the Independence, whatever. And then I kept watching his videos, and he got funnier and funnier, and I was like, I love this guy. He is great. He's so good, and like the way he makes he messes names up on purpose, or he's like, I collect all the He-Mans, or whatever he said. Oh my god, and he's so funny. And again, I have never seen a Danhausen wrestling match, but he's one of my favorite wrestlers. He's just so funny. And then the two times I've seen him, I saw an interview. I can't remember the name of the channel. Him out of makeup and actually speaking as himself. And then like he's going through a toy store one time, and he it gets the reflection of him, and he's out of makeup. He's like, oh, here I am in disguise, and he's so funny. And when he talks about when people talk about his makeup, he's like, yes, I put little red makeup under my eyes, and that's it. Like everything else is natural. And he just stays in character, and just a fun god. I would love to see him on WWE, because I mean, you could do anything you wanted with that guy, and he could be.
They wouldn't know what to do with him.
No, they wouldn't. But he's gold.
Because that's what I appreciate about Danhausen, that he has that sort of
he's
that
nice,
sort of Saturday afternoon. He's got that Saturday afternoon campy movie charm of like an Elvira or like a Weird Al, even.
And I mean,
I love that stuff.
You were with me when I got my picture with him, and I got to be about 6 inches taller than he is. I mean, he's not a big fella, but he's so good, and more athletic. I mean, I don't care that I'm taller than he is, but so athletic and just a good dude. And he was so fun, and he's just a funny guy, and embraces his character. And I cuss you, yes. And I mean, I've got that picture of me and Danhausen cursing each other. And it's not like the one I got from before. Which I pre-ordered. This was the actually AEW version. Those boxes, by the way, suck. Because I try to conserve my boxes. I had to rip that thing apart to get him out. And I was like, you SOBs. But anyway, very nice, very evil, Danhausen.
Very good.
I got one more thing, and then I'm out.
Okay. Well, I got two biggies.
All right, go big.
The first one, I saw this at PowerCon in person.
Oh.
And it was something that I knew existed, but had never actually seen before. And I was fascinated because it's one of my favorite characters from this show, this era, this whole genre. So I'll try to cut to the chase because we're already going long and I give too long of introductions to figures anyway. I bought another Thundercat.
Oh.
But it's a Thundercat that I already had, but different. So I bought a Tigra, except I bought an invisible Tigra.
So, oh my God, if there's no figure in there.
I saw him, because I sent you pictures of the gigantic Cat's Lair, because Super 7 came to PowerCon, set up their whole massive display. Mm-hmm. And they had this invisible Tigra, he was on the backside, just chilling down in the corner, where you might miss him because he was invisible. He was a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive.
Okay.
Which explains why you might not see many of them out in the wild.
Well, you might not see him because he's invisible.
You get one of those.
Okay.
But like you mentioned, it's that time of year where things go on sale. So we paused a little bit ago so I could take the wrapping off of this because I have not opened it until now.
Ooh, an unboxing, a live unboxing. You bought clear plastic.
Yes.
Showcasing clear plastic.
Look at it though. I don't know if I can get it close enough for you to see. I mean, you can still see the Thundercats logo on him, but you can still see the little like white tiger striping.
Oh yeah,
on him.
That's neat.
This thing looks so cool in real life. Like he
does he have his whip?
Yeah, you can't see it though because it's also see-through. Like you can see, there's his handle. You can see it behind him. He comes with like 2 or 3 versions of it. I don't think you can see it because it's between his legs. But he comes with a version, and this is, I believe, how they had him posed at PowerCon. He comes with a version that I don't know what it's made out of. It's still see-through, but you can wrap around himself with it.
Like he used to. He need to do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, translucent figures have always been cool, but there was just something about, as much as I love Tigra, like he might be my favorite Thundercat, just seeing this in person, like I was convinced. I was like, that is so darn cool.
Yeah, that's neat.
That, you know, as soon as the opportunity presents itself, like I'm not going too deep into Thundercats, believe it or not.
Not like you go too deep into He-Man, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you think I don't collect He-Man? I don't collect Thundercats. But I'm real excited to see what this guy can do. And just when it comes to you know, see-through figures, you know, this is about as see-through as it gets.
Yeah.
Without, you know, until I'm just holding up an empty box and going straight Emperor's New Clothes on them.
That's good.
I was so excited to see this come in because what a cool version.
Yeah.
Of a very good figure.
And you
already.
have to know, like nowadays, like these, like that toy, and like the classifieds and whatever, you know, they're no longer marketing to kids. It's us. They're marketing towards adults.
Absolutely.
Kids don't know that Tigra does that. They're you know, throwing out the line, and we're all eating the bait and just getting reeled in because, you know, I don't know what toys they have for little kids now because you know my daughter's grown, but God, how can you not have toys? I mean, action figures are.
They don't need toys. They have Fortnite.
Oh well, yeah, but playing was so much better. I mean, if I had all these toys that I had grown, I mean, that whole case and that back there, save for the thing it's sitting on, I did, and I love them. This whole section over here of Star Wars, I loved playing with my little action figures.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm going to put them yet, but I'm tempted to do sort of what Super 7 did with him on display, is just, you know, tuck him away somewhere where he can be invisible, and let people discover him. But friggin' invisible Tigra, how cool is that?
Yeah, that's good.
That makes me very happy. My last figure was quite special, because it comes from a property. I'll be a real cool guy and call it a property. Is near and dear to my heart that I have very little from because it's all very hard to find. and usually far too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But again, stuff's on sale this time of year. So I made sort of a kind of a daring purchase that I was very happy to pick up. And I don't even know how to introduce this, so I'm just going to jump on in with it.
Okay.
And I bought the Ronin Warriors Inferno armor. And I don't think Ronin Warriors means squat to you. Nope. So I'm just going to sit here and sort of bask in this for a minute. Because Ronin Warriors is just one of the best things. As far as toy lines, ridiculous. It's one of the best animes of its time. I've got such good memories of watching Ronin Warriors back in middle school. I first discovered it in the summertime. I was visiting one of my uncles up in Michigan, spending a couple weeks up there during the summer, and I'd have time to kill during the day, and just eating breakfast, watching TV. This cartoon comes on that I've never seen before, in this with amazing style and fantastic character design, tremendous bad guys, and I spent as much of my time, I think it was on at 9:30 in the morning, and I made sure to be there at 9:30 in the morning every day that I was on this trip, because I'd never heard of Ronin Warriors before, and life was never the same. It falls in that it's too late in the evening. I'm not going to remember the name of it, but that sort of Power Rangers-esque genre of Japanese animation, where it's X amount of regular teens, probably 5 of them, who get color coordinated suits of special armor and martial arts abilities. They came out with, I want to say it was a Playmates line, but that's probably wrong, in the 90s, a line of toys, which had so many problems because the figures were terrible. Because instead of having any sort of regular joints, they attached everything by springs. So you could be like, huh, awful idea. And they came with so many different pieces of armor that you could snap on, from the shoulder to the wrist, to stuff that goes on the wrist, to the thighs, to the boots, to the, everything came with 26 pieces of accessories. So they were basically unplayable. I have one, good old Sigh of the Torrent, up there, which I've somehow kept 95% together. I think he's missing a shuriken. They're awful action figures for just a fantastic show. And even those now, I think Pixel Dan talks about him every now and then in videos, because he's been taking a look at him recently. And we saw a couple of them at Applejack's, if you remember, and they were not cheap. Mm-hmm. They had a couple out of box, they had a couple still on card, neither of which were, I feel, priced as they should be, because they're hard to find on card, and they're nigh impossible to find complete loose, because there's just so much stuff. We saw the old version of this loose at Applejack's, but I don't think it had its swords.
Yes, I remember you saying that. Yeah, yep.
So the Inferno armor, decided to go with this one, as opposed to which is one of my favorites, because this Inferno armor is sort of when all the other Ronin Warriors combine their armors into one super armor.
Voltron.
In lieu of forming Voltron, or combining to make a Megazord. Like they combine the spirits of their individual armors or whatever to make the Inferno armor. And then now the single white Ronin warrior goes out and kicks butt. You know how these shows work.
Yes.
But this line of figures is just beautiful. Because it comes with the character figure, it comes with all the pieces of armor, it comes with this stand that you can like sit them on, and they're just gorgeous. They're not cheap though. Because this is made by
Super 7.
I don't know, something Japanese.
Yeah.
So, and this is the first time I think I've seen any of them go on sale. So I hemmed and hawed about it for a little while before ultimately just going, Merry Christmas to me, and getting the champion of the Ronin Warriors. Because I've wanted a Ronin Warrior for a long time.
Really?
It was one of my goals when we sort of started getting back into collecting. Like I wanted more Exo Squad. I got Exo Squads. I wanted, to finish my X-Men teams. They're pretty much done. But Ronin Warriors have been very hard to find for, reasons listed. But having the Inferno armor up there, I think is going to be a really nice way, almost sort of a supplement to having, all of them, because that would be a real feat if I was actually going to dive in and invest in getting a whole squad of Ronin Warriors. Like, oof doof, that would be a toughie. But having this guy up there, just sort of championing them is just gonna be great. So it's I obviously haven't taken it out of the box yet. As I'm sitting here talking, like I wish I had, but it was sort of just like, I don't know. I don't want to say I was in awe of it, like when it arrived, because I knew it was showing up. Like I ordered it, but just sort of waiting to talk about it and talk about how, just how much I friggin' love Ronin Warriors. I got the whole set on DVD around here somewhere, but it's like, it is really, to me at least, the quintessential like, team anime, of just, there's the blue one, the red one, the orange one, the green one, the different shade of blue one. Like when I think of just fantastically designed sort of team action cartoons, like Ronin Warriors is where it's at for me. There's been a lot of very popular anime over the years, but as I don't think any of them have the design that Ronin Warriors does. So I'm just thrilled to sit here and look at this thing, a little intimidated as well for some strange reason. But man, it's just going to be cool having a Ronin Warrior on my shelf finally.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever go back and get all 5 of them. Maybe if I ever run across an Anubis, because he wasn't the big bad guy, but he was kind of the main one that they fought most of all, and he was the coolest one. But it's kind of Ronin Warrior. That's freaking cool. That's all the stuff I got.
Well,
I can now get around to taking them out of boxes and figuring out what to put them on shelves, and it's all good stuff.
My last thing is not a toy, but it's something very special. I've been teaching high school for 25 years, and for the majority of those years, I've also directed plays and directed musicals. And we're filming this on Sunday the 19th. Shout out to my best friend Ron, his 50th birthday. He likes to call me the old man because I'm older than he is. We've known each other for 45 years of our lives. But shout out to him. He'll never watch this. But last weekend, I directed maybe my 18th or 20th show. I don't know how many overall. I've directed a lot, and I love doing it. And I have so much fun with the kids. And we had just a fun show. It's a version of Dracula. It's a really bad script, and so like I said, we took the cheese and turned it up to 11 and just made it fun and silly, and it was a dark comedy. We had just a ball. We had so much fun and so many inside jokes. And they would get mad at me because I'd be sitting in the front row taking notes during rehearsals, and I'd be laughing at these same jokes I've heard 8, 10, 12, 14, 25 times over, and I'd still be laughing at them. And they'd be like, "Mr. Cohan, you need to stop laughing." I'm like, I can't. And then there was one time, it was literally during Tech Week, where something, I wish I could remember off the top of my head what happened, but I just lost it. And one of my actors was like, "You need to control yourself," and that was the best. And I'm like, what are you guys gonna do? Like, because like they'd be fine. They're like, "We get fine on stage," and all of a sudden you start laughing, and we start laughing. Like, you're gonna have to deal with that because you know what's gonna happen on show nights. I'm gonna be all the way in the back of the auditorium, and I'm still gonna be laughing. You can't break when I'm laughing at you. And it was just a fun, stupid show. Oh God, we had a ball, John. And I know I've gushed to you over this, and I'm gonna gush again right here, but it was just so much fun. But they were on, and they just played, and we had fun, and oh my God, it was great. And that's where my heart lies. I mean, I could teach English till I'm dead, but let me direct theater all day. That's what I would love to do. If that were my job, man, it'd be great. It was so good, and you know, these kids are so great, and I'm going to miss my seniors. It was just a pure pleasure. It's one of the easiest shows I've ever directed. They embraced the silliness, the horror, whatever you want to call it. We just had a time, and I could go on for another 3 hours just talking about how much fun we had. But it's a shout out to my kids. It's not a toy, but it's something just near and dear to my heart.
There's a lot of nostalgia wrapped up in this hobby, whether it's, you know, memories of shows we love to watch or memories of old toys that we had once upon a time. It's real easy to sort of just sort of tread water in memories from long ago, and I think this is a nice reminder that it's also real important to keep going out there and doing stuff and having experiences that make new memories for you.
Yeah. That's what makes my job fun. I hate the politics. God, do I hate grading essays. But when all is said and done, it's not about all that. It's about what you can teach, what you can put on these kids, and build the connection. Because it's just a skill. You're teaching them critical thinking skills. That's all it is. I don't care if it's math, science, history, gym, whatever. There's so much that is left out, and I know I'm spiraling it right now, but it's a rewarding career for me. And I had two young ladies who I had last year, seniors. They came back and visited me this year. We just sat and chatted, and it's like, when you're now you're an adult, we could sit and talk real, for lack of a better word. It's such a rewarding and fulfilling career if you do it right. And that just, I know I just soapboxed for way too long, but I apologize. But that was such a fun show. We had so much fun.
Well, this has been I Bought Toys today. I've been John.
And I'm Cohan.
And who knows what we'll do tomorrow.
Thanks for watching.
Good night.